Welcome to Round Trip Death, the place where we give voice to people who have experienced death, seen the other side, and return to talk about it. A place for answers to some of life's greatest questions, and a place with questions you may never have even thought of. Our interview format is non-judgmental and non-denominational. I just wanted to put a special preface on today's interview. Aaron is someone who had a horrific accident which included a traumatic brain injury. Because of this, our discussion is not as concise as usual, and the topic jumps around a bit. It may even seem a little hard to believe. And while I have no way to prove or disprove anything you're about to hear, I can say that I've talked with Aaron multiple times and found him to be an authentic, sincere, good person. And there definitely is something that we can learn from his experience. We are on the line today with Aaron McPherson, my new friend in Oklahoma. Aaron, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Having a good day
Sound
here
like
up in
it,
the mountains
yeah.
of Utah, and I just got a look of the outside thanks to Zoom of what's going on around you in Oklahoma. It looks nice and green.
Yeah, it's nice and green, and it's 100 degrees. It feels pretty good in my car right now, so
Okay.
happy about that.
Plus the hoodie you're wearing. Well, those listening don't get to see what we are, but we'll try to paint the mental picture for everybody. We're going to be talking with Aaron today about the NDE that he had. He had a very serious and traumatic accident on a motorcycle, and we'll get into that in just a minute. But Aaron, would you mind giving us just a little bit of background so we can get to know you some?
Just a little background about me. I'm 43 years old. I live in Hominy, Oklahoma. Work in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's about a 45-minute drive. I can go back a little bit. I graduated from college with my bachelor's degree, graduated top honors in criminal justice law enforcement. And I interviewed around for a lot of jobs, and I ended up at the Tulsa Police Department. And I worked there for 14 and a half years. And I had a bad motorcycle accident that essentially ended who I used to be in my life from that point on.
Let's go back to that day. How long ago was that?
That's August 3rd of 2016.
Okay, so about 6 years ago right now.
Yeah, just Wednesday was August 3rd. Unfortunately, the director of my department died on August 3rd, 2 days ago. So
I'm sorry to hear that. Take us back to that time. What was going on that day that you were on your motorcycle?
Well, I remember working day shift that day at the police department. It was like my second or third day on day shift. I'd been on night shift for years. It took so long to get a day shift position on the police department. I think it took me around 12 years, because I think I left the police department 2 years after my wreck, officially. But I got off work, drove home. Don't remember really the drive home. I'm a real picturesque kind of person, so when I'm telling a story, I'm putting myself there and trying to recall it to the best of my ability so you guys can see it. Drove home. It's like a 40-minute drive from Tulsa to Skiatook, Oklahoma is where I lived at August 3rd, 2016. And went home, and it was like I looked at the temperature on weather.com that day. And I remembered it being a warm day. I think it was 101 or something around there. Got home around 4, I believe. Saw family. Hadn't been on my motorcycle in a long time, and I'd just gotten on day shift, and I was kind of excited to ride the motorcycle when it was light outside. I hadn't rode this bike in a while. It was a 1999 Harley Davidson Fat Boy. I'd probably just bought it a year or so before that. And I'd probably ridden on and off throughout my life for over 10 years. August 3rd, 2016. Got on my Harley 101 degrees and went for a ride. And I was going northbound on Highway 169 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, from Owasso, Oklahoma, going towards a small town named Ulagal. And I was on the highway, and I was just riding, and the highway runs north and south. So the sun is to my left as I'm riding, but then it curves and curves to the east. So now the sun's at my back, and it's a gradual curve. It's a long, like miles of curve. So I'm curving around there, and I hadn't really ridden around there or anywhere during the day for that matter for a while. I've driven. It's like a fishing town. For me, it was. I'd go fishing there and stuff. But around, I think it was probably around 6 o'clock, as I'm getting close to Ulagal, there's a power plant, and it's a very large power plant, and you can see it when you're driving that direction on the highway. And that's the last thing I really remember is riding my Harley northbound there on Highway 169 on August 3rd, 2016, around 6 o'clock. I think back, and I think I want to tell myself, I see these pictures or thoughts, and I think I remember the bike kind of sliding and I'm going highway speed. The speed limit's 65. So I want to say that it was kind of sliding in one of these thoughts. But when I go back and look at the pictures, a lady pulled out, and it's a rural part of Oklahoma, so there's not overpasses or underpasses. It's a stop sign to get on the highway either direction, and it's a separated highway with 2 lanes in each direction, and there's grass median in the middle. So a lady was going to cross the highway, and from my understanding, she was going to go the opposite direction, but you got to go into the center median and wait for traffic and then go. But she apparently got a ticket for running the stop sign. She ran the stop sign to cross the highway and didn't see me. And I hit the side of her truck, and I don't remember that. It's like a memory that I told myself, this is how I'm going to die. I think back, and I think I remember a memory of laying inside of an ambulance and a Oklahoma state trooper standing over me, and something about having a gun on my bike, which I carried a gun on my bike sometimes because I was a police officer, and it's just for my own protection. I didn't drink. I don't drink. I don't drink now at all. I probably drink once a month back in those days, but I've never been much of a drinker besides high school. So I was not under the influence of any intoxicants. And I just have these flashes of thoughts of maybe a collision or a crash. I didn't know. It was really strange because what I remember wouldn't make sense to a lot of people.
Sounds like you've had to go back and put a lot of these pieces together. I think it's normal that you don't, with the brain injury as well as your other injuries, that not all that memory's there. How long were you in the hospital?
I believe around a month, probably like a month. I'm going to say 30 days to 45 days, somewhere in there. I was in a coma for 2 weeks, from what I'm told. I was told after the accident, I was transported to St. Francis Hospital there in Tulsa, Oklahoma at 61st and Yale to the emergency room. I heard that I received 9 bags of blood for blood transfusion. And let me go back to the wreck. I don't, in Oklahoma, there's not a helmet law, and, highway riding, I never imagined something like that would happen. So, I just kind of casually cruised around. I wasn't like into speeding or anything like that, just enjoying the weather. And I had those, what you call ape hangers is on my Harley so they're about a little below eye level, in front of you. And I didn't have a windshield or anything on it, and I just enjoyed the weather. I didn't have a helmet on, and I'm going 65, and I broadside I hit it by looking at the pictures and stuff. My forks and everything were bent straight in. My handlebars were bent back towards the seat, and the seat was gone. And the damage on her truck, she had a Ford F-150, probably around a 2004 range Ford F-150 with an extended cab, and it had a camper shell on it. Just going back and looking at it, and you can Google my name, Aaron McPherson, Tulsa Police, and you can find articles and stuff, and there's some pictures, and that's where I found some pictures of the wreck. I've looked at the citation and stuff like that. Yeah, I hit right behind her cab. Right behind the cab, the extended cab on the side of the truck bed, setting straight up, which I always thought about how if I wrecked my bike, how I would want, I see wrecks all the time as a police officer, or I did. And I've seen a lot of people die in car accidents and motorcycle accidents as well. So I always thought about it, and I probably didn't want to go underneath the truck. So I probably stood it back up when I started sliding sideways, if I slid sideways, but I feel like I did because I think I might remember something. I don't know. The way it looks is I hit it setting straight up, and I always told myself I would kind of jump a little bit, to go over the top of something because I don't want to hit it. But unfortunately, I kind of did that in a way where I think I did, because of where my brakes are on my body and what's damaged on my body.
Tell us just kind of an overview. So you were in the hospital at least a month. You had, what did you tell me, 15 to 20 surgeries, and how much metal put in you?
And it was over 60 pieces, but they took out some in my hand, but I got 59 pieces of titanium in me right now. I broke my lower right leg, the shin area on the inside of it, in 2 different places on the same bone, probably about 6 to 8 inches long, and it cut the nerves off to my right foot, and it still suffers the consequences of that. It feels like it's asleep all the time, and I have to take gabapentin for that, and some nerve damage in my head. It helps with. It's a neuron, so it helps with the nerve damage. But I got a plate in that right leg, in that shin area. I broke my right femur completely in 2, right where the ball's at, probably an inch or so. I've looked at all the x-rays and stuff, probably an inch or so outside of the ball. And there's titanium screws, like 2 or 3 of them right there. And it crushed the right side of my leg and broke that femur right there. And then it shattered my pelvis. I have a C-section scar across my belly from where they had to go in and put titanium mesh across my pelvis on the inside of me. And then I got a screw or something on the left side of my pelvis towards the back area. So I broke my pelvis in several places. I broke all my left fingers here, my left wrist, my left elbow. I still have titanium plates in my left elbow. I fractured the C6 or C7 in my neck. C7 is what this most recent paperwork said, but I thought it was C6, but maybe it was C7. But I fractured my C7 in my neck. I broke all the right ribs on the right side of me and collapsed my right lung. I fractured my right arm as well. but thank goodness I got full use of it right now. I also broke my jaw in 2 places, and I got titanium in my face from the break in my jaw, and something hit me right across my face right here. And I imagine it was probably that camper shell. I think what I did is I probably hit the bed of the truck, which I'm saying is I hit it with my right hip, and my right arm probably hit above the bed of the truck and probably knocked started hitting the camper shell, and my face probably hit it as well. At 65, or, if I'm slowing down anywhere from 45 to 65 miles an hour, I don't know. I had no idea I'd been in a motorcycle accident. It's like I'm just talking to you right now, and the next thing I know, I'm going through a lot of hellish and weird situations. It's I'm being stuck there.
So tell us about that. Let's jump to the NDE itself and tell us what kind of experience you had there.
I remember being in my hospital bed, in a hospital room. And the hospital room, it was probably, it's like the lights were off, but there was a light shining in there. And I'm laying in a hospital room and being in a hospital bed, and it's kind of dark, and I'm looking down my feet, and I'm just kind of like studying the room, I guess I can see the whole room in my mind. And when I'm looking down as I'm laying in the hospital bed, I can see like there's like I don't know, an object, a sticker or something towards the wall. And right in the wall, it isn't too far away from the foot of my hospital bed. And, I want to say I could hear beeping, beep, beep. And I can see it so vividly, the room. And the sticker, I'm looking down my legs, it like turns into a figure. And it's just standing there at the foot of my bed. It was in the shape of a person, the figure down towards the foot of my bed. I don't know how to describe. It was like, I don't know. I could understand it. But it looked like, and it had like skin, I guess, when I'm looking back at it, like we have, but it looks like he's just ugly. He's just like a goblin or something, like I want to say leprechaun, like you would see on a movie, but those are really, really like ugly in some of those movies. But it's just smooth, but ugly. And he's talking to me in his mind, and he's sharpening a knife. And he's telling me in his mind that he's going to castrate me. And I don't want to be castrated, of course. I don't remember feeling much fear, but I remember it vividly. I don't remember like a tone of voice or anything, because he talked to me with his mind and didn't move his lips. And he was probably like a foot taller than the bed. And he was probably in between the wall and the bed.
So how do you know you weren't just dreaming this?
I don't know. But I'm still in the same room in the bed, and I can see to the left of my bed. And to the left of my bed, there's I want to say like a 4x4 light, like squared light, but it's so bright that you can't see the perfect lines of the light. And there's like bars opened up already in it when I observed it. And initially, when this guy's down here at my feet, but I can still see some of the room around the light, but it's so bright, I can only see like the farther edges of, because it's about probably 4 feet off the ground, and it's to the left of my bed, and I can hear this sweet woman's voice as I'm laying in my hospital bed telling me everything's going to be all right. Just come into the light. Everything's going to be all right. And it just sounded sweet as can be. And I'm still in the hospital bed. I hear the sweet woman's voice. This guy's down towards the foot of my bed, and I look, I don't know, I see these two guys to the right of my bed, 6 to 8 feet to the right of my bed. There's hospital windows, and the hospital windows are removed, and I can see these two figures of men. I don't see like the shapes, like contours of their face or anything, just the silhouettes of them. And the one on the left, when I'm looking to the right at them, is about a foot taller to the one of the left of him. And I can tell they're men because of the like the shoulders and their body shape. And it's a dark outside, but it's brighter outside than it is in my room. And I can only see their silhouettes. And behind them is like a U-Haul style truck. And I say that just to try to describe it. It's like a big box truck, and it says something about meat processing, and it's on the side of it, and it's backed kind of at an angle where I can see the side of the truck, and the front of the truck would be out towards away from the hospital room. The back's backed up. I can see on the license plate it says Mississippi, and I still look at license plates all the time, and I'm not a police officer anymore. But I remember the license plate saying Mississippi on it. I was born in Biloxi, Mississippi. And these two figures, they sounded like they were giggling, like a high-pitched, like clownish voice, or even angelic in a way, just a high-pitched giggling. And I can hear like metal clanking the metal. And it's not like a heavy metal hitting heavy metal. It's like a light clanking and I'm assuming it's my bed rails on my hospital bed. And I got these two figures over here to my right. This little guy telling me he's going to castrate me in front of me, which I'm assuming, looking back, that's Satan. I feel like this is my judgment day. And then you got heaven to my left. And I'm about to go through my review. The next thing I know, I'm not in that room anymore.
So where did you go next?
I was in an upright position in like a dentist style chair. And I'm in this chair, but I can't move. I'm just observing things around me, and something's telling me some information. I don't know where it's coming from, but to describe where I'm at, I'm really visual. I'm looking at it right now in my mind's eye while I'm talking to you. It's brighter around where I'm at in the chair, and it's like a light colored wall, probably about six feet in front of me, light colored wall tiling. And to my left is like it's open into a big warehouse. So I'm like it feels like this room connected to the warehouse, I guess. And there's a light. It's bright around the room where I'm at and into the warehouse. And there's a bull raging through this warehouse, and I'm stuck in this chair, and I'm there, and it's very vivid, and it's like I'm there for all of eternity. And It's hard to describe because I couldn't describe it before this happened to me, but it's like time slows down. Like it slowed down so much. I can see all this still. And I'm in this chair in this warehouse. I don't feel fear or anything. I don't, I see, and something tells me that the bull is going to rape me and there's nothing I can do about it. The bull is going to rape me and there's nothing and it's just raging and tearing up the room. And it's off in the distance and it gets darker in the distance and it's lighter around the chair area where I'm at. It's like I'm there for all eternity. And I know, looking back, I know I didn't want to be there. And I think as soon as I'm trying to escape or whatever it is, I can't move in this chair, or even just the conscious thought of I don't want to be here anymore. It changed scenes. I'm still sitting like in an upright position, probably in the same angle as I was sitting in the warehouse. It's lighter around the chair and darker in the room. It's kind of a dimmer room. It's really dim and the walls are just bland. And in front of me is a wall, probably 2 feet in front of me. And there's a door 2 or 3 feet in front of me. And there's a door to the left of that wall. And there's a ledge right to my right, like a built up ledge in this room. And I'm sitting in this chair and there's a nurse kneeling down on the ledge to my right. And I don't know how I know these things, but just like something was telling me the bull is going to rape me and telling me they're going to castrate me in my hospital bed. Or before that, she stabs me in the head with PCP. I don't know how. I know she stabs me in the head with PCP. And being a police officer, I've encountered that a lot. I know they used PCP for surgeries way back when. And there's a door to the left of it, of where I'm at, just to the left right there. And I can hear shotgun shots going off. And I can hear the boom, boom. And I can hear it going off in the other rooms from where I'm at. And it's getting closer and closer to the room I'm in. And I can't get out of this chair. There's nothing I can do about it. And I don't want to be there. And then I feel like I'm there for all eternity. You know, it's like, when is this going to stop? But it changed scenes to I'm in a dark, dark forest. And it's so dark you can't even see the trees or the sky in the forest. But there's a tree, a huge tree. In this dark, I don't know if you can turn all the lights off in a room and have it pitch black and it's just dark. But there's a huge tree, probably 50 yards from where I'm observing it to kind of the right of me. And it's huge. And it goes up. You can't see the top of it, but the light is coming down around the tree and that's what's lighting just the area around the tree enough to see that it's a tree. And I would say it's like one of those big giant oak trees or something that you would see like in, I don't know, Yellowstone or something really big. And I live in Oklahoma, so we got smaller trees that
you got big trees.
We got some big trees, but this tree is huge. And there's an entity about 50 yards from the tree and more from where I'm at. And I'm still in this seated position observing this. And the entities, I can't even describe it. It's so dark. But I know the entity has a controller in its hand. And when it moves the controller, there's a car beside the tree. And that's all there is. It's pitch black, a tree, an entity, a car with somebody in it. And the entity moves the joystick and the car hits the tree. Another car appears. The entity moves the joystick. it hits the tree. A different person, more than one person are in these vehicles every time this entity crashes it. And this goes on forever. And I don't understand what's going on. I go from being a police officer protecting and serving the public to I'm in some dark forest and this thing's crashing cars into a tree. And the next thing I know, I'm in a car. And I can see the tree, and I yell out in my mind, please don't. I'm a police officer. Please don't do this. Please don't do this. I'm a police officer. And the scene changed again. And it would just change just like that, just like a blink of an eye. And I never had dreams like this. This is too elaborate, too strange. I've never experienced anything like this. And the next thing I know, I'm back right tire of a school bus. And there's dirt as the pavement area, and there's light lighting up. It's almost like daylight in a way. It's so bright. And this, where I'm at, but I'm the back right tire of the school bus, and I'm wearing my uniform. When I was Tulsa Police, I had the green uniform, and I'm wearing the green uniform, and I'm part of this tire, and it's dragging me through the dirt. And I'm trying to stop the school bus because there's a big pit of mud in front of the school bus. It's a yellow school bus. I can see that light brownish dirt, just dragging me through the dirt. And I don't want it to go into the pit because I can see into the pit. It's just mud. It's muddy, and it's deep looking. And you can see across the pit, there's other, and it's almost like melting looking chocolate on the other side of it. The pit is like melting, and the mud is going into the pit, filling the pit up. And I know the school bus is going to go under the mud if it goes into the pit, and I don't want it to go into the pit. And in upright position, seeing this as I'm under the bus, but I can also see the bus.
You had this series of nightmarish kind of scenarios.
Yes.
Were played out for you in front of you.
Yes.
What do you think you were supposed to learn from that?
Well, just to get into the next thing, I appeared on the side of this hillside, and it was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful starry night, and the grass is as green as can be, and I'm laying looking down this hillside of nothing but deer, and these deer are all frozen, and I'm frozen too, and they're just beautiful as can be. We can't move. And thousands of deer, and there's a bright light to the right of where I'm at, and it's shining onto the deer, and we never move, and we're there for all of eternity. It's like I didn't want to be there at a certain point. And the scene changed again, and I'm in the steel die cast. I want to say steel, but I mean, it was metal from what I can remember. And I'm laying in it on my back. And I say die cast because it was about halfway up the sides of my body. And then there's another side of it about 3 feet above me. And I'm laying in it, and there's a room around it, but it's kind of blurry. And there's an entity to the left of me, and it's a female's voice. And she says, he's not supposed to be here. We have to send him back. And she's like standing over here to the left of where I'm at, laying down. And towards the middle of my body, I hear a male's voice, and it says, let's send him better. It's like they're talking to each other. And the female says, we can't. He has his own free will. And this die cast starts to close down on me. And I can just see it coming down on me, and I just feel like it's just pressure of, if I don't fit right, it's gonna make me fit right. I mean, it's stronger than whatever, I mean, my body is. And the next thing I know, I'm back in the hospital bed in that same room where I saw the figure towards the foot of my bed, the light towards the left of my bed, and the two subjects to the right of my bed. They're no longer there, but the light's still there, and it's brighter in the room, much brighter. But I'm in the same position, laying in the hospital bed, and the same light with the same still doors is open, and I see this gold figure that's brighter than the light. It's bright. It's brighter than bright. It's brighter than the light, but it's in the light, right at the edge of the light, looking, well, I want to say looking, but it's shape of human figure of perfection, gold, the smooth, not male or female, gold figure is kneeling down, looking towards my hospital room, my hospital bed. And the next thing I know, I'm in the light and I'm kneeling in the same position that I saw the gold figure, looking into my hospital room, and I can see my body laying down in the hospital bed. And that's the last thing that I remember. And I want to say it's not all that I remember, but it's the last thing that I remember of going through this and then trying to interpret reality from whatever, because it seems more real than reality. It was there.
Tell me about the gold figure. Was this a person, angel? What was it?
It was just a gold, brighter than bright. I mean, if you look at a super bright light, it's so perfect. It's almost.
What did you make of it? What did you think it was?
Looking back and looking at this, and I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure what it was. Of course, I didn't talk about it. It's kind of weird, you know. Why would somebody want to hear this? But
so, have you told other people about this?
Yeah. Yes, it was a real experience, and it really weirded me out. Looking back at it, it's just, I interpret it going back now, and I've been going to church a lot, studying the Bible, and I feel like I had died, and my spirit, my soul went through some sort of judgment. But I feel like I had died that day, and my spirit separated from my soul, which is my body, when I died, and it guarded heaven's gates while my soul went through judgment. The spirit, it was perfect. It was almost like liquid gold. It was just perfection. There wasn't pronounced like me looking at you and telling you're different from the next person. It was just perfection. There wasn't like hair on your eyelids and stuff. It was just pure gold. But I feel like that was my spirit separating from my soul. And I don't know why I'm back once I've separated. But if my body was laying there, I can only imagine maybe I went back to my body, and because I want to be with my kids. I have two kids, a 12-year-old and a 7-year-old. But I know there's nothing to fear going through judgment because I was forgiven. Everything's going to be all right. Just come into the light.
How's this whole thing changed you? How is the Aaron today different than it was back then, besides just the bodily injuries?
I'm a lot more spiritual. I know there's a spirit within me. I feel like the spirit is always on record. You cannot hide from God. And God knows everything because He can see everything that you're seeing right in this moment, everything that you can hear right in this moment, everything that you can feel. It's on record. And I went through a judgment, and I think some of that stuff is kind of a convoluted, weird meaning, an ulterior like meaning of different stuff that's happened in my life since. It's not reality as just being in that situation is not reality as you and I know it, because I say the word eternity and everybody would be like, well, eternity is forever. One day in heaven is 1,000 days on earth. Then it makes sense to me that, our senses, we live in a three-dimensional world. The fourth dimension is your concept of time. Like, it would take you 5 hours to drive from here to there. You know that, wherever there is. The fifth dimension, time no longer exists, or so it didn't seem like it. It just seemed like forever. So if one ball is turning and one day is 1,000 years here, with one ball rotation there, time is going a lot slower when you die. Like, it doesn't even exist.
I think time's completely may not just be slower or faster. Yeah, maybe completely different.
Right.
Does it even matter? If it doesn't matter, then does anyone even care if it's going faster, slower, or backwards, or anything else? Right. What's your takeaway from all this? What is the message that you've been sent back here to share with everybody?
That there's nothing to fear. When I was in the light, it was just peace. No thoughts but peace and love. No more pain, no more anything but peace and love. We're all sinners. We all make mistakes. We all walk our path, and we all die. And that experience makes me feel like I have died. And I'm very picturistic when I talk about stuff from looking back, as we all have salvation. I think if you're truly an evil person, and that's who you really are, and you want to be in some sort of other place besides heaven after you die, I think you get to choose that. I believe so. If you want to go to hell, you can go to hell. But I want to go to heaven. I want to go back to the light. I'm not an evil person. I want to serve all of God's children as much as I can. Spread the word, study the Bible. I learn, just reading the Bible, it talks about the light a lot. And through the different chapters, when you're going through it, Jesus is talked about in different books. And Jesus is God. Jesus is Lord. And it says right there in the Bible that God is spirit. And if you don't have the spirit, you're not human. But what do you and I know? We might be living amongst artificial intelligence. You never know. I'm not that paranoid, but I believe everybody has God's spirit. We're here for a reason. We walk our own paths. We're all man. Jesus Christ was a man that walked this earth, that had a heart just like you and I, that beat just like yours and ours. And he walked amongst us, is what the books say. And his heart was created, the blood that flows through his heart was created by the same creator that created the heart that's beating in your chest right now. I'm a creation of God. And the man Jesus that was here is our Lord. He was one with his spirit. God is spirit. And he was our Lord. The man Jesus died, but Jesus never dies. God, the same God then is the same God that's here with us now in every moment that passes in your life, every tick of that clock. There's only one God, same God, and God is within. And he's so powerful that he can put a spirit in 9 billion people that's on this planet. And a lot of us are just too busy with our lives to realize it. You know, we're only here for a certain amount of time, and we all got plans and goals, and while we're here, but we're all going to die, and we're all here for a reason. And the spirit is within, and from what I've seen is that my mind and my consciousness is going to heaven. My body will stay here, but my mind belongs to God. And I trust in God 100%. 100%. His glory, his grace has put me here with you guys, given me a second chance in life. And I'm trying as hard as I can, you know. It's been hard to deal with this accident, for the simple reason is I still suffer the consequences of it every day. The pain, you know, my body, I was in really good shape before my wreck. I wasn't like anything top notch, but I was athletic all through high school, played football, wrestled, ran track, really good shape. And then just to turn that switch, you know, and being a police officer, went into the Marine Corps, I turned that switch of having that capsule that transports you around, which is your body, being no pain or strong. You don't realize it in life until it's all taken away from you at the flip of a switch. And there's still a lot of fight in me. There's still a lot of old Aaron in me, but there's that wants to fight and keep going and serve as much as I can to go back into God's glory, into the light one day. I'm not in a hurry to get back there. I have my kids here, but it truly felt like home. There's nothing to be scared of. Everything's going to be all right. I'm no more special than you or I. And that sweet woman's voice is going to tell you, well, I'm not saying it's going to be the same, but everything's going to be all right. I know in my heart, each one of us is going to be all right. And I love all of you guys with all of my heart.
Aaron, that's a great message. And Aaron, I just wanted to say that thank you. I know this is a hard subject. It's hard to relive all the trauma that you've been through with this serious accident. And I appreciate you getting through it. And I know it's difficult. And I wish you well on the rest of your recovery. And a lot of people that have had these kinds of experiences, the near-death kinds of experiences, it takes a while for the brain to take all the images that you saw and put it into something that really makes sense. And from A to B to C. And it sounds like you're getting there. And I have a feeling over the next few years, it'll become even more clear to you. So anyway, but thanks a lot for being here.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you listening to my story. It's 100% true.
If you've had a round-trip death experience and would like to share it with us, we would love to hear from you. Send an email to me, eric@roundtripdeath.com. And lastly, if you've found this program uplifting, if it's given you just a little more hope in the future, share it with a friend. Rate us 5 stars, and be sure to visit roundtripdeath.com. Until then, I wish you everything good that you're looking for in this life and the next.